Hi, welcome to PHP and MySQL video. This is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. The notes for this video can be found here at this URL, which is loaded here. So we are going to continue our dynamic text box example. In the last video, we finished the first page, which is here. Now we send the input to the second page. We have to create a second page. So we have first page here. I'm just going to keep it open. And I need a second page. So to do that, I'm going to just make a copy of the second page. I'm going to make a copy of the first page, paste it here, and create a second page, and rename it to eg102 underscore dynamic textbox.php, and open this in Notepad++. Of course, both pages look the same now, so we need to make some changes. In the second page, we keep the title the same, and then we delete the form action, and we delete everything in the form. We just need a submit button, and we change the body and say you generated X text boxes. Okay, and the action, of course, send this to the third file, which we have already decided the third file is going to be called this eg101 dynamic process. Copy that, Control V to paste. Let's see what the second file looks like. Okay, so this is your first file. Let's say you want 5 text boxes. Submit the form. The second file say you generate the X text boxes. So obviously we need to replace X with the 5 you have just submitted. In order to do that, we go to the beginning of the file, even before the doc type, and say that I want a piece of PHP code, and I'm going to create a variable called number of boxes, number box, and that is going to be from the first file, submit by post method. The name for the box is called select number. The name of the drop down of the selection, of the select tag is called select number. So we say filter input, 3 input. The first one is post. The second one is the name of that, which is select number. I'm just going to Control C and Control V here. And then the last one is filter. I say it has to be an integer just in case. Okay, just in case. All right, we got that. So we can output this here. So we are going to replace X with PHP. And inside that, we say we're going to echo number box, which is depending on what the user choose on the first page. So let's say the user choose 5. When we submit, we say 5 text boxes. Great. Now the next thing is we are going to generate the text boxes. Okay. So we are going to hard code first. Okay, a very simple example of how to write a text box. Name is equal to, we need to give it a unique name. Each box must have a unique name. So I'm just going to call it text 1, text 2, text 3, depending on which text box it is. So they are always unique. Type is equal to type. Type is equal to text. Value, I'm just going to put 1 for everybody. Control S to save. And if you come back here, submit, you have one text box. And of course, I need BR here. Come back, submit. We have one text box. And then when you submit again, you have an error because the third file was not created yet. So let's do a submit, error. Okay, we're going to do that later. The first thing to do is we want to write a for loop to generate 5 text boxes or 3 text boxes, depending on what you choose. Right? So in order to do that, again, it's a very simple for loop of repeating this. The only catch is the name must be unique. We're going to deal with that later. So before that, we have a PHP. After that, we have another PHP. And we write a for loop to wrap it around this. So for loop. And now, just make sure you do the syntax correct. Okay. So that is the correct syntax for loop. I less than equal to the number of boxes, which is dynamic depending on what the user choose. And then you can do I equal to I plus 1, same as I plus plus. All right, let's see what we have. We'll come back here. 5. Submit, we have 5 text boxes. Great, you think job done, right? Nope. If you view source, you realize that right now, all the text boxes have the name 1. That is not okay because all the input text boxes must have unique names. So we have to replace the 1 with, you guess it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, based on the for loop, I to 5, right? So here, instead of 1, we are just going to replace only the 1 with PHP and echo I. So now when you choose 5 and you view source, you have 5 unique names. So if you want to be super sure, you can actually Control A, select all, Control C, and do a validation here. And by direct input, check, no error warning. So you know that your generation is good, okay? So finally, now we need to submit to the third page and do some calculation here. So if you do a submit here, oops, file not found, we have to create the third page. Okay, to create the third page, we are just going to make a copy of the, you guess it, first page. So come back here, make a copy of this, paste, and rename it to, you guess it, here, eg101 underscore dynamic underscore process dot php. Open this in Notepad++ and start changing things. I'm just going to change the title just for fun. 101 dynamic process. And then we don't need a form anymore. Just get rid of everything here. And the H1 become, okay. All right, let's see what we have. So I'm going to switch between the 1, 2, and 3 files tab here. Okay. All right. So now if you have the first file 5, second file, and you key in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and submit, you will get EG101 dynamic process, but you shouldn't look like this. What's going on? And realize that there is a little star here. That means I forgot to save. So you Control S to save. Try that again. All right, get value from text boxes. That's the correct thing to do. Okay, the first thing you need is you actually need to know how many elements are there in the post in the form using the post method. To do that, there is a way to do this, but you need PHP, so I'm going to put PHP here, and we create a, I'm going to do all PHP below just because it's easier instead of breaking between the HTML in between the HTML and PHP. So we say we create a variable called number of elements, and in this we use a method called count. Count is used to count an array, and PHP store all the information in a post array. You can actually print the whole thing just to see what it looks like, kind of interesting. But we just use a count and say how many elements are there. Okay, and then we do an echo. Like I said, I could have put HTML and break PHP, but then my video will become too long, so I'm just do an echo HTML, although you use more system resources, but I'm just doing a class exercise. Post array has number of elements. Control S to save. So the post array have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements because the input form is counted as element. So you submit, post has 6 elements. Okay. And then you can actually manually capture the text boxes. Remember here, the first text box is called text 1. Second text box is called text 2. You can actually do a manual copy of that. Manual capture of value. So you can create a value called, sorry, let me just do some explanation. So you say, I'm going to create a PHP variable called text1, and then I will filter input, any value. So I only need 2 things, post method and the name of the text box. I'm going to call it text1. Oh, sorry. The name of the text box is text1. Save it here, and then I can echo it. Control S to save. So when you submit, make sure you save. If you submit, you should get a 10. Pretty cool, right? So if you want to do text box 2, same thing. Create a new variable. Control C, Control V just now. Text2, text2, text box 2, save in a variable text2, output the text2, Control S to save. Control S. You have the 20. Okay. All right. But this is not very efficient. Okay. It's not very efficient because you don't know when to end this, but this one gives us a syntax to write a for loop to capture all the values automatically. So we are going to do the next one. And say used number of elements to capture value. And you guess it, we write a for loop. Three things. 1, 2. Okay, here you can do less than number of elements, but to make it look more easy to make it easier to read, we say number of elements minus 1. So if it's 6, you can't do 5 because the last one is a submit button. You actually don't want to filter input for that. Okay. So now let me just echo I. Control S to save. Come back here, submit. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need text 1, text 2, text 3, text 4, text 5, both when you declare the PHP variable and when you try to get the name of the text box. Okay. So to do that, I'm going to comment out the echo and say I'm going to create a variable called temp name, temporary name, and the temp name is text join with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is I. And then we echo out the temp name. Equal to, and then we try to capture the user input. Okay. So now when you submit form, you have the name of the text boxes. And then next, you want to save the capture into a temp number. And then we do a filter input. And this time also 2 fields. The first is a post. Second is the name of the text box, which is temp name. And then you can echo the temp number. Okay, which is really cool because now you have 10 to 50. Okay. Technically, job done, right? Not really, because let's say I want to use this value for some calculation. Say later we want to do the sum of all the numbers, or average of all the numbers, or the standard deviation of all the numbers, or the average plus 2 times standard deviation to find the range and all the good stuff. You have to save them into a array. And the good thing about PHP is we can just create an array here and push values inside. So this is, instead of using a push method, you can use this really lazy syntax. We don't even call the push method. We just put the value to the array. And then after that, you want to see what you have done. You just show the array. Okay. You can technically just do a print R, right? Just like, I'm really lazy. I just want to print R, the name of the array. Control S to save. Go back, submit. You have a really quick view of the array, and all the values are saved from 0, array index 0 to 4. But you say that, hey, I don't like this. I want to actually print it properly. what you can do is you can actually write a for loop for that. And you're trying to print index 0 to 4, so your I is going to go from 0 to 4. So instead of less than or equal to, just less than, that will count until 4 when you count the number array, which is what we did just now. And then you can do plus, 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 and then you can echo. Number array. Zero to 4. Control S to save. Come back here. You have nice way of printing the value. Okay. If you want to do some calculation, let's say sum, right? Or some other things, you can use the for loop for that. Let's say to find a sum of all the numbers add together, it should give you 150. So sum is equal to 0. And then every time you just sum equal to sum plus the number array. And then here you can echo. I'm lazy, I'm just going to put the value inside the string. So now when you go back and submit, you get 150. They did a calculation for you. So you can do the other things like standard deviation and all that. Okay. Another way to print this is you don't like this, you don't like the for loop, you can print it as associative array, which is slightly different because technically it is associative array. Okay. And to do that, you use a for each loop, key value pair. We did that in one of the early examples, associative array. Although I didn't type it, the example is available. Associative array can be seen in example 5 and 6, really early examples. 6, 5 and 6, they have a little bit of associative array there. And then we say that, hey, I want to, for each loop, the post, which is associative array of key value pair, as p name to p value. So I actually declare these variables. Okay, you can just put, sometimes people just like n and v, name and value, but I say the post name against the post value. I will just echo p name equal to, again, lazy way of writing. Control S to save. Submit, you have everything here. Okay, name and value. But you also have the submit button. Okay, so if you don't want to do the submit button, you can write a simple if else statement here. If the name is not equal to 2 equals, not 2 equals to, submit one, which is the name here. If it's not equal to that, then you output, so you don't do that. So you don't output the submit one. So now you have the value you need. Okay, probably is a good time to do a validation, but my video is getting too long. I leave the validation to you. And that's a good place to stop. So I finished all the extra examples I want to do here. Okay. All right, and this is probably the last video of this series of videos. I may add things later, but that is sufficient for the for all the PHP files we want to do, all the PHP stuff and MySQL stuff we want to do here. Okay, and all the code is available here at this page and this URL. Okay, all right. So since it's the last example, have a good habit. Close all the stuff. All right, and shut down your XM and shut down your computer. So thanks for watching all the videos. Hope you have fun.